Welcome. In this video lecture, I am going to discuss how we can draw such kind of data visualization using Python. So these kind of visualization is known as, so basically to represent the deviation in your data. When we are saying deviation or the variation, so for this kind of data visualization, we are mostly using the two perspective, which mean the positive and the negative compared to some reference point. So that reference point could be a zero, okay, from where we would like how many number of bars or the dots or the lollipops are lying left side of that 0 point, or how many bars are lying on the right hand side of that referencing point. So as a reference point, you can also use the target number or the average value as well. Okay, so for this kind of data visualization, we can use diverging bar chart or a diverging dot plot. So this is a diverging bar chart. This is a diverging dot plot or a diverging lollipop. Okay, so for that, we needed the two libraries which I am using. Of course, we needed the Pandas library in order to read the data and in order to manipulate the data. Regarding the visualization, I'm using a data visualization library which is called as Plotnine, which is equivalent to the code of line in our ggplot2 as well. Okay, so for that, I am loading these two libraries. First of all, okay, so in order to draw those data visualization, I'm using a data set called cars. Okay, so this is basically the data set we have. Uh, so this is basically the different cars we have. Okay, and then there are certain features we have. So right now what I am going to use is I will use the mileage per gallon, which is mpg variable, in order to draw those plots. Okay, so I would like to know which cars having the more mileage per gallon compared to the other cars. Okay, so for that, first of all, we are going to read this data file. So I am giving the path of this file. Then I am saying, and then I am saving that path into a variable called file underscore path. And then I am reading with the help of pandas library, which is pd dot read underscore csv. That is a function which we can use to read the data. And then I am saving that data file into a variable called empty cars. And then I am viewing that data set with the help of this empty car dot head to. So I am viewing the first two rows of that data files. So if we run this one, so I can see, so this is the data set we have. So right now the first column where we can see 0 1, and similarly if I can view the first four, let's say, rows, so 0 1 2 3, so these are the index we have. Okay, then there is a unnamed column, that is basically the car names, then we have mileage and so on. Okay, so what I am going to do is, first of all, in order to draw those data visualization, I am going to setting the first column, which is the unnamed, those are the car names, as an index. Okay, so how can we do that? So I am saying empty cars, that is the name of the variable in which we have the data set, and then I'm calling a function that is called as set underscore index, and then I am saying the first column, which is the zero index column, okay, in the empty cars, must be, okay, in place is equal to true. So that means we are saying that, so this is a zero index. Okay, so this variable must be considered as an index. Okay, so this is a one index column, so right now this is a zero index, which is a car name. Okay, and then after setting that column as an index, we are again viewing it. Now if you can see that we cannot see 0 1, because now this column is considered is set as the index column. Okay, now after indexing it, now we need to create a new column, that is basically we are creating a new column of the car names. So how we I am creating it, I am saying create a new column with the name car names, and the values of those variable is going to be the values in the index. Okay, and the index is basically the car names, different cars names. Okay, so if we run this one, now you can see that there is another column that is called as a car name, and the values of these variables are basically the values in the index, which is basically the different car names. Okay, so after setting the car names, now we need to calculate the reference point. So the reference point I am using is basically a z-score, and we know that the formula of the z-score is basically the value of which is the mileage per gallon, that is our interested variable in which we are interested, in order to know how many which model cars are basically, you can say, giving us the more mileage compared to the other ones. So for that we are calculating the z-score, and the reference point is going to be the 0, because we know that the z value is either it would be greater than 0 or less than 0, or could be the 0 if the particular value is exactly equal to the mean value. Okay, so how we can calculate this z-score column? So I am saying create a new column with the name mpg underscore z, and then I am calling a function round because I would like that the value of the z-score must be rounded up to the 2 digits. So that's why I call a function called round, and before this 2 digit I am calculating the z-score with the help of this formula, which is basically mpg, that is the name of this variable, minus the mean value of this variable. So this is how we are calculating the mean. So x, that is the mean, mileage per gallon variable's individual value, minus mean of this variable divided by the standard deviation of this variable. Okay, and I am saying that it must be show the values up to the 2 decimal. So after calculating it, if we run this one, so there is another variable which is called mpg underscore z, and we can see the value of the z score of against every cars. Okay, so basically we have converted this variable into a standardized variable which is a z, and we are going to use this variable in order to sort those graphs, in order to know which car has having the more mileage compared to the other, and the reference point is going to be 0. So if you can see the first, let's say 25 rows, so there are few cars which having the negative values, there are few cars which having the mileage per gallon are the positive. So we can say that obviously those cars who having the mileage per gallon z score is greater than 0, so they have giving us the more mileage compared to the which having the negative value. Okay, so in order to display it, the next thing we need to do it is that we need to basically create another column in which we are going to label it that which car is below the referencing point, which is a 0, that is a z score, and which car having the mileage per gallon z score is more than the 0. Okay, so for that, I am saying create another variable which is called mpg underscore type, which the type is above or a below. Okay, that is from the referencing point. And then I am saying apply on this function. Which kind of function we are applying? So we are applying a function on this variable, and what function we would like. So that's why I'm calling a function apply. Okay, and then I'm creating a function with the help of lambda keyword. Okay, so the function is the lambda x colon sign below. Okay, so this mileage per gallon is going to be labeled below if the value of this mileage per gallon is less than 0, which means if it is negative. If it is greater than 0, which means if it is positive, or you can say else, it should be above. Okay, so if we run this one, now we can see that there is another variable. So let me see the first 25 rows of the data. So the if the value of the z is less than 0, so it is writing below, and if it is more than 0, if it is, then it is writing the above. Okay, so we have created another variable which is called below and above in order to categorizing it. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to sort the two variables. One is basically the mileage per gallon in a ascending order. Okay. um, Similarly, we need to sort the variable of the car names in order to draw it. Okay, because if we are not sorting it, it might be the bars are not representing properly. Okay, so that's where first of all we are sorting it with the help of function called sort underscore value, and how we are sorting the data with respect to mileage per gallon. Okay, so first we are basically sorting it, and then what we are doing is we are basically sorting this variable. Okay, so basically what I am going to do is I'm going to convert this variable into the categorical type, although this variable is already in a categorical type, but we are converting into the again categorical type and then sorting this variable. So how we can do that? That is pd categorical. Okay, and then which variable we would like to convert, that is the car names, and then we are saying order this variable as well, which means sort this variable as well. Okay, so we are again sorting it, okay, with respect to their names. Okay, so after sorting it, now we can use this divergent plot from the Plotnine library. So the function is ggplot2, and then we are writing the name in which we have the entire data set, and then aesthetics. Okay, so we are mentioning what we would like to appear on x-axis, what we would like to appear on a y-axis, and then the fill is equal to mileage type. So the fill is equal to mileage type is means the bar colors is going to be represented with the help of this mileage type variable below and above. So that means we would see two type of bars. Okay, one is below and one is color is for the above type. Then we are saying we would like to draw a bar chart. For that, we have a function called gum underscore bar. Okay, this stat identity is basically a side by side bar chart. So we need to represent side bar chart, and this width 0.5 is basically representing the width of every bar. Okay, so obviously if you are going to increase, then the width of the bar is going to be start increasing. Then we are using a function called this is basically we are using for labeling it. Okay, so scale underscore fill underscore manual, and then we are saying name is equal to mileage, so you can see this is the mileage, and then we are giving the value. So with the help of this one we are basically telling the bar colors. So the above we are saying that this is the color. Okay, so you can give these numbers. For the below, this is the color, and then we are labeling. So the above is basically going to be labeled as above average, and then below is going to be represent below average, or you can say above from the referencing point or below from the referencing point. And then we are basically calling another thing with the plus sign. So g underscore, so we are saying that x-axis label is equal to mpg underscore z. This is z we are labeling, and the color it should be black, and the color, the size, and then again labeling the subtitle and the main title. Okay, the coordinate flip, which mean if we are not using it, so this x-axis basically the car name is going to be appear over here. So I am saying flip it. Okay, so once we flipping it, now we can see that we have this bar chart. Okay, so that is this one, right? So now the next one is if you would like to draw the diverging dot plot, the only difference is the rest of the thing is same. There is one thing, I am over here, I am using the fill, and then I am also using the fill over here. So if you can see, I am over here. The only difference, this is the same thing. Instead of using the fill, I'm using color over here. So you can use fill as well over here, the same thing. Okay, then in the above I have used the gum underscore bar, but now I'm using gum underscore point because I would like to draw the dot plot, and then I'm telling the size of that dot. Okay, because if you are using color over here, to use scale underscore color. Okay, if you have used the fill over here, then use scale underscore fill. underscore manual, and the rest of the thing is the same as we have mentioned earlier. Okay. Now, GOF text is basically telling us that when we are filling or labeling those numbers, as we have mentioned over here in the bar, we have given the value of the Z 2.29, 2.04. Same as here we are giving the value to assigning the value to the that dot. Okay, and then labeling it. Okay, and then we are saying that uh, defining the limit of the y-axis from minus 0.25 to positive 2.5. Okay, that is also the addition which you can also add on the above chart as well. Then again flipping it, so we can see this dot plot. Okay, so right now if I am using the fill, you can see that the outer lines are in a black shape. So if you would like that it shouldn't be black, it should be the white, then instead of using fill, use color. Okay, so color over here, then again color over here instead of the fill, and then if you can see that now it is in a right shape which looks good. Okay, and similarly, if you would like to draw the lollipop plot instead of bar or the dot plot, okay, again, this thing is the same. So now there is no need to fill anything. Okay, so we are saying over here GUM point. Now in a point, I am saying fill with black and the size is 6. Okay, so we are basically filling it with the black color. Okay, and this is the important over here, that is gum underscore segment axis, so which we are saying that it should be start from the zero. Okay, that means this from reference point zero, and then end up to the value of the z of that car variable. Okay, that is ending, and then we are saying end with the car name. Okay, so with respect to the mileage per gallon, which is the z value, and the color is black. Okay, the rest of the thing is the same as we have mentioned earlier. Okay, so this is basically we are drawing the lollipop plot. So if you see all the charts, either it's a divergent by chart or diverging dot plot or a diverging lollipop chart, all are showing that basically deviation from the referencing point, which is right now z, and the information we are getting is that these cars are giving more mileage per gallon compared to these cars, and the highest mileage is giving basically the Toyota Corolla, so which is the highest one. Okay, so I hope you got the idea how we can draw these deviations plot, or you can say diverging plots using the Python. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.